in India can be a challenging process, but with the right guidance and preparation, we can also make this a more easy process and a smooth process for you. Through this webinar brought to you by Mindler, it is designed to help you navigate this journey with confidence. Today, we'll dive into the key aspects of Indian college admissions, including effective career planning, building a strong resume, mastering interview techniques, and strategies for excelling in entrance exams. Today, we have with us our expert counselor, Mr. Abhishek Gulati, who will take us through this webinar. Mr. Abhishek Gulati is the AVP Global Education and Strategy. He is a growth strategist who leads the global education vertical at Mindler and mentors students to help actualize their dreams of an Ivy League education. He is an alumnus of University College of London with exchange credentials at the London School of Economics and HEC Paris. We welcome Abhishek here. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining in.
Okay, great. Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Urvi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm so glad that all of you have taken the time out on a weekend to be here. Before we begin, just want to quickly check how many parents are attending the session today. If you can quickly in the chat box write down if you're a parent, that'll be wonderful. In fact, you can mention that which school is your son or daughter in as well, and that'll be great. If you're a student, you can just mention what class are you in and which school are you in. Simple as that. I'll give you a minute to reply to that. Parents, students, can you mention the schools? That'll be very helpful. Wonderful. Wonderful. Glad. We have teachers joining as well. That's excellent. Thank you so much. Excellent. I'm so glad we have a lot of parents here as well. Wonderful. Really appreciate your time. Great. Perfect. And that also tells me you can hear me loud and clear. And any way you have a doubt, just keep putting in your messages and the team will be happy to reply. I'll try and take on as many questions as possible. The entire agenda behind this entire webinar was to make sure a lot of parents had reached out, and of course students, that they're not too sure how to approach Indian education. A lot of you might be applying abroad, but this entire conversation is around how we can work towards Indian college applications as well. Now, let me set some context. I know some of you might be already preparing for certain entrance exams, that's fine. But the entire reason we are here today is because a lot of times there's a lot of misinformation around Indian college applications, how to go about it, and there's so much noise around, and any and everybody keeps guiding, and parents also get worried, and students also keep hearing things from friends, families, relatives, of course. So I want to make sure that by the end of this conversation, you have certain idea how to approach Indian college applications and how we can continue to work with you and guide you wherever you need support. That's why we're here. Now, just to give you an idea how Indian education landscape has changed and evolved, that will set context for you. 20 years ago, when we were looking at colleges in India, there were three pathways to get into colleges, rather two pathways. Around 60% colleges in India gave admission based on entrance exams, and the remaining 40% gave admissions purely on the board merit. So, very simply put, the likes of JEE, NEET, etc., and the other national exams kept happening, and people were able to get to the best schools possible. And the remaining students were getting the best marks in boards and applying to colleges. 10 years ago, that scenario changed a little, where we had around 40% colleges still giving entrances, around 30 to 40% colleges giving entrance exams, and remaining universities decided that, listen, we also want to know about students' participation, co-curriculars and extracurriculars, what kind of engagement they have, and that became a very profile-centric admissions. Sitting in 2024, this ratio is dramatically different. We only have 5% colleges that accept students purely based on board marks. So if your son or daughter is getting 95% and we're hoping they will make it to the best schools in India, I'm very sorry, those schools hardly exist. Second bit is 60% colleges still require entrances, which you already know, but there are a lot of new age colleges that very particularly focus on your entire profile. Your academics matter, and not only in class 12th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 9th in some cases, and your overall profile, which I'll talk about. So if I'm not preparing for those colleges, I'm missing out on a huge chunk of colleges that actually future forward and looking at getting the best and brightest kids and giving them unique opportunities. That is the crux of the conversation. And also, I want to give you an overview. How do we approach this conversation? Or approach these admissions, because there's so many factors that you need to consider, because a lot of times students feel, okay, we'll do an application and get done with it. It's not that simple. There are multiple layers to it, and that's why we are trying to make it easy for you. I'm very grateful to all the schools that you come from who have made the effort to invite parents. So, any doubts, parents, please put in your message in the chat box and we'll be happy to address throughout the webinar. Wonderful. I hope that gives you an idea about the context. Now, before I begin, what I want to suggest for all the parents is, and this is something I would want you to do at the earliest, any and every kid who's attending this conversation or any parent, the first and foremost thing you need to do at this point is make a timeline for yourself. What are the colleges that you are looking at applying to? If you are not aware of certain colleges, what could be the other possibilities? Even if you have a list, what is your plan B, plan C? Please make sure you have backups. You can't rely on one college or just two colleges, because tomorrow, if that doesn't work out for you, what will you do? Backup is not a bad thing at all. I rather have 3 or 4 admissions in hand and I reject college. I keep saying this to kids all the time, and same request goes for parents as well. Please make sure your son or daughter has at least 3, 4 offer letters and you get to choose. Imagine the feeling you will get that, listen, I chose a college out of the options I had instead of getting rejected or running behind a college at the last minute. Make sure you have an Excel sheet or a tracker for yourself where you're keeping a tab of what colleges are you applying to, what are the details required, what is the eligibility. I have met so many kids who don't even go through the university website, look at the eligibility criteria, understand what are the academic requirements, what all goes in the application, and randomly filling up application. That A brings a bad name to the school. That means school is not preparing you. Second, anyway, student is creating a bad impression for themselves and chances of getting rejected get higher. Third thing is, please, at the earliest possible bit, try and register for university you want to go to. Most of the application of new age schools, I'll name a few for you, have already opened. The likes of Ashoka, Flame, Shivnadar, Thapar, Plaksha, Ahmedabad opens in a few days. Azim Premji, Kriya, Vidyashilp, all the leading universities in the country that are actually working towards the future-centric courses. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well as we move ahead. Make sure you register on the website and gather as much data as you can. If you have a tracker ready, parents, you will not miss out on information. You also have the Mindler portal. Most of the kids who are from the Mindler schools, particularly for them, you have access to roadmap, exam corners, and you get regular information from the team. And if you're missing out still, that's completely our lab, right? So I'm just reminding you, if your students are already working with or part of schools that are working with Mindler, make sure you check out the dashboards and make the most out of it. Try and fill out your details. You will get notifications for exams and anything that's opening up, right? And that is very, very crucial, because the worst thing that can happen is you miss out on a deadline. Imagine after preparing for an exam, you don't get to show up for an exam and don't get to be a part of the entire system because you did not register at the right time. There is no way. Last year, I had so many kids. I remember the 7 kids who did so well, prepared so well, forgot to register, forgot to give the exam, miss out on a timeline. These things can actually make a big difference, right? And please remember, we might not take it that seriously right now. It does impact your career, the colleges you go to. It does have some say in the kind of opportunities you get, the network you make. So let's not take this lightly, students. Okay. While I'm talking about new age universities, I want to spend some time and help you understand why this is important. Parents and students, I want to give you a simple question. Considering the last 7, 8 months, what do you think have become the most important careers? What are the careers that you are hearing about every single day? Take a minute and tell me what are the kind of careers you're looking at. Careers that everybody's talking about. Careers that are becoming so crucial or have become so crucial. I'm sorry we don't live in 2000. IT sector has been there for 24 years. I'm talking about 2024. AI is fine. Anusha, psychology is a subject. I mean careers. Finance is a domain. Careers. Name careers for me. Everybody's saying AI. Name careers. Semiconductor, I'll still buy as an industry, sure. Or it's looking like we are in year 2000 or 2015. Same careers. EV, thank you so much. Somebody's brought change. I'm repeating the question again. We are living in 2024. Can you cybersecurity? Brilliant. Thank you so much. So Mr. Sutappa, thank you so much. That's brilliant. Forensic quantitative analyst. Great. Now, very interesting, right? Careers are changing rapidly. Let me add a few to the mix. We are looking at careers in astrobiology. We're looking in space tech. We're looking careers with data and analysis. We are looking quantum physics. We are looking at biotechnology in a very different way. We are looking at computational biology. We're looking at international relations. We are looking at AI and law. We are looking at prompt engineering. We are looking at quantitative finance, we are looking at so many domains that were not heard of. But if we are looking at such future looking sustainable development, we are looking at, we're looking at working towards careers that we have never heard of. And if you're talking about the influences, absolutely, Avantika, you're right. If you're talking about these careers, we also need to look at courses that are preparing us for this. Now, we can't just depend on the conventional courses. I'm not saying don't look at the traditional colleges, please do. But what are the other options? What if I get to go to colleges that are trying to merge different interests as well? What if I tell you there are colleges in India that are teaching astrophysics or astrobiology along with political science? What if I tell you can go to the best schools in India and study philosophy, pol science, and economics? A course that is the flagship program at Oxford in the UK. You have these programs here. If I want to be a designer, who is telling me that I can't study psychology with design? We have the leading universities in India who are building these programs. Why? Because industry demands this. They are directly talking and working with corporates to develop programs that are more relevant for you. So if you are looking at preparing for careers of tomorrow, how can you look at courses that are preparing you for careers that have gone by? If I'm in class 12 today, the biggest fear I have is whatever I study might not be relevant. And it's very true. So how do I prepare for that? As parents, how do I mitigate that risk? The best possible opportunity is I apply for traditional colleges, but I also give my students or my ward the chance to apply to new age careers or opportunities to study at universities where conversations around this. No, let me give you a simple idea. I want to study biotechnology. Why can't I merge AI with biotech? What if the colleges are teaching me this? Who's telling me that I can't study medicine and political science and go work with WHO tomorrow? Right? I can study media and economics and go work at Netflix tomorrow. All these careers exist. I can give you so many examples, but you have to spend some time and understand that these domains matter. Right? I want to give you an example that you hear. Right? I spoke of Netflix, right? Let me give you a simple idea. If you can, if you pay attention to this, I don't know how many of you have ever bothered to open the Netflix careers page, particularly students or even parents. This is the most fascinating careers page because we use Netflix every single day, but we don't realize what can we do for a company like Netflix. Let me show it to you. Just pay attention to the teams that I can work with in Netflix. Look at any academic background that I want to be a part of. Look at the kind of careers that are available, right? Now, if you want to be part of the next generation and the next range of careers and actually prepare your kids, right? I have to give them the right opportunities. I'll tell you one of my favorite domains is gaming right now. I'll show you the list of careers. Now, I think everybody here, all the kids know this page very well. Electronic Arts is one of the biggest gaming companies. What if I am great at games? I'm great at design. Why can't I work in a company like that? I'm going to the best business schools. Why can't I lead sales and marketing for a gaming company? Because that's where the future is, right? It's not just this. Why can't I be a lawyer for a gaming company? So we have to also start looking at careers in a very different way, right? One of the best career pages I know is also Google. It's a company that we all survive on. Let me give you an idea. And also, let me show you the kind of degrees they're looking at. If you pay attention to this, you'll get an insight into see what are the kind of careers available at Google. From marketing to sales to engineering to design, I can do so much. What if I want to be a designer at Google today? Look at the kind of roles that exist here. Now, if you want to work in all these areas, what are the kind of qualifications required? What are the kind of degrees they're hiring for? They're not looking at the most traditional courses. You have to start understanding the careers are really unique and diverse. So are universities. Today, we have such innovative programs that are catering to these needs. There's so many universities that are developing programs that are future forward and working to prepare students to get industry ready. We speak about talent and hiring and lack of job opportunities. There's never a lack of job opportunities. The idea is what can we do with it, right? Oh, Mr. Manjinder, I think anyone who's playing sports, every university has that because they are also getting athletes. Please understand one thing. I'm so glad you brought up this question because if a student has played sports, dance, dramatics, MUNs, anything they specialize in, a university also benefits from them, right? Depending on what sport you're playing, there are different schools available, and we can definitely recommend something for you. Absolutely, right? And that's something I was going to bring up later, but thank you for mentioning that, right? One of the core elements that separates the new age universities than the conventional ones is the experiential learning part. It's not about learning in a classroom anymore. It's about learning beyond the classroom. How are you collaborating with people together? Let's say I'm a psychology student. I'm sitting on a project with a biology and political science student. Why can't I come together and come up with solutions? Tomorrow you want to work with strategy consulting firms like McKinsey, Bain, BCG, Dalberg, Accenture. That's exactly what is happening. You're sitting with people with unique, different backgrounds and solving problems. If you look at the Mindler team, all our academic backgrounds are so diverse. That is why we are able to work towards careers, right? And we learn from each other. Similarly, I'm very certain all the parents here will come from at least 30 to 40 or different careers. And that is the best part about it. Imagine going to a university where people sitting in the classroom are already looking at different domains to different branches, and we can collaborate and work on projects. Imagine the uniqueness of perspective and approach that brings in. And that is what the industry demands, right? And that is where the world is heading. Now, when we speak of applications, I want to give you very simple insights. You can make a note of this. I'll go slow. First and foremost part, non-negotiable. Academics are still very, very important. 10th, 11th, 12th are mandatory for all the new age schools. Some schools will also ask for class 9. So I want to showcase consistency. In case you have not done very well in class 11, that's a big problem for them. But if you have done well in 10th, 11th wasn't the best year, how are you improving in 12th? In your midterms, in your pre-boards, how are you improving? What are your predicted scores at this point of time? Right? So please understand this, correct? So understand how can we navigate these areas as well. And this is very, very relevant. Your extracurriculars, co-curriculars play a huge role at these universities because they feel, what are you learning from it? I'll ask you a simple question. I'm going to name a few sports or a few activities. You have to tell me what are the skills that the person is building with it. For example, if I'm playing basketball, what are the skills I'm building with basketball? Prithviraj, it will, yes. Teamwork. Okay, great. That's it. What else? What else can I learn from basketball? Interesting. Quick thinking. Spatial. Oh, very interesting. Wonderful. What can I learn from chess? Excellent. What can I learn from chess? India has been a great country for chess. Best year for us ever. Precision, calculation, sharp mind. Very interesting. If you meet somebody who's a trained dancer, what can you learn from them? Somebody's a trained dancer. Balancing, spatial skills, sure. Excellent. Somebody who's good at MUNs, what can you learn from them? What are the skills that person is showing? Hmm. Wonderful. Now imagine, oh, you already know all of this. Now universities will also appreciate this, no? It comes down to how do you put this across? That is where your activity scripters comes in. Any and every application that I'm talking about, Flame, Thapar, Kriya, Shoka, Shivnadar, Plaksha, the likes, I have to understand these universities care about these activities. How you present them is equally important. What was the incident? How did you learn from it? What is the skill set? Don't just tell them that you have done these activities. Tell them what have you learned from it. When I say I've gone from an MUN, I'm listening to you and thinking that, oh, this person knows how to research, knows how to negotiate, knows how to work on different topics and work around it, solving problems. If you say I'm a debater, same negotiation, understanding people, rebuttals. You're telling me you're a dancer, discipline. You play a particular sport, team or individual. What does that tell about you as a person? So understand you have to present that in a particular way. You need to showcase the passion. Passion cannot be showcased with a one-off activity, right? Yeah, it has to be done over a period of time. You tell me you've done an co-curricular activity. You want to learn about political science, economics, business, biology, physics, etc. How have you learned? Have you picked up online courses? Have you done certifications? Have you done research? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you attending webinars? Even if you're sitting here and learning this, this is also part of your career awareness. I can still use this and mention I attended 5 Mindler career webinars on career readiness. That also will be, I last had a kid who wrote this in an application, right? That I attended 17 hours of career workshops in the last 3 years. And I was so amazed. That's so smart. But you are doing the same thing as well. But how are you leveraging it? Correct? Becomes very, very crucial. At what level are you engaging with whatever activity you want to do? So it can't be random, right? Mr. Rashi, sure. I think Urvi, can you type down a few names of universities? Thank you. And I would request everybody to send questions to everyone, to not only host and panelists, because people will think Abhishek is talking to himself, right? People would know what I'm answering, right? Um, Beyond this, try and showcase you are making an impact. Community work is very, very important. How are you giving back to the community? What are the kind of ideas you're working on? Very, very crucial, right? And you have so many opportunities. So how are you engaging with that, right? Mr. Amit, what is the question? Careers with PCM? I can sit here for 48 hours and I won't be done. Tell me what careers I can't do with PCM. That will be a better question, right? So careers don't work in a box. Careers are very unlimited and we can literally engage with so many things, correct? Um, Again, I would talk about, let's not limit this conversation to those, right? It's a very broad spectrum. I mean, there are multiple careers available. I'm very happy to address these questions. In fact, I'm going to take a minute and answer a few. Uh, Pragi, what do you want to study? Non-math students can do multiple things with the commerce background. So what is it that you want to study, right? Absolutely, Vanchika, with the kind of development that's happening, interior design is not limited to houses, right? We're looking at offices, we're looking at stadiums, brand stores, hotels. Interior design is definitely going to grow. No, absolutely not. We can't send it to everyone, or we. I think we should check how does that work, but we'll figure it out. How does commodity trading look in the future? I think Arush, it's only going to grow considering the market, but what commodities you're looking at, that's more interesting, right? Anusha, depending on what you want to do after that, because CA and CMA professional degrees, BBA is undergrad course, they can happen at parallel as well. I think maths in itself opens up a whole different set of careers, Paulomi. Media and economics, Pragi, you can go with working in with a company like a BBC, a Netflix, a magazine for that matter. I can work with an advertisement company as well. So great scope there, right? Mm. Arnav, it depends on how you're presenting a strong application. I won't say it'll be easy for you, but you can still put across a very strong application, right? Sanjay's psychology as a domain is only growing because it's understanding people and behavior that's relevant for everybody, correct? So I think that's always going to be relevant. Arush, yes. Wonderful. Great. I'm glad. Right. So I'll keep answering the question as we go along because that's why I'm here. Wonderful. Let me move ahead. Psychology, of course, Anusha, you're looking at marketing, organizational behavior. Those areas are very popular. Behavioral economics, right? Shreya, I think maths, economics in particular will be very crucial. Why? Because you understand data, analytics, trends, patterns is very, very helpful. Correct. Now, when we talk about applications to some of the leading universities, what is important is every university has some form of essay or the other. Some universities have short questions, some have proper essay topics, which are really lengthy. Some have short essays as well. Some let you choose a topic, some ask you to write a topic or personal statement. So understand few factors around essay writing, and then I'll come back to answering few questions. Right. You have to understand, pick up a topic that's relevant to you. I was having a conversation with a student of mine who's picked up a topic because like, oh, my friends are writing on this, but that may work for their friends. My friends might have a better understanding of that, but you have to understand that you have to put across your story. If any and everybody could have written your story, it would be much easier. Like I keep saying this, I can't use AI for writing essays because AI will not be able to add the nuanced, my personalized bit to an essay. So try and understand there's so many factors on the table, and we need to start understanding that it has to be as personal as possible, and essays need to be relevant to you and nobody else, right? It becomes very, very tricky without getting a biased perspective, because your parents and family and siblings are going to give you a biased perspective that you're doing well. So that is where the role of coaches and counselors comes in, because we have read so many essays and we understand that, okay, what can work for you? Is that the best story possible? Can we get better? Can we look at a more um or a better approach towards putting a narrative across? And essays can be very tricky, right? Let me give you a simple topic from this year. One of the universities asked the questions, in the next 5 years, talk about your academic and non-academic engagements. Now, if I've not even thought about my career, how will I share my academic journey? But if you are smart, you'll realize 3 or 4 years I'm in college. So I will go on to progress in my academic journey in the college itself. They're asking you for the 5 years, 4 years you are in the college. They're seeing how sincere are you, right? Non-academic can be any of your extracurriculars and other engagement that you're looking at, right? And that's how you approach essays to the leading colleges as well. All the universities I'm talking about do have an interview. Now, this becomes a very tricky part. Interviews are never easy, and it takes a lot of preparation as well. So, very simple tips that I can give you: always start with research, right? You need to scan through the university websites and understand what are the areas they're looking at. I can't randomly go for an interview. You need to start preparing for it properly, right? Because if you are not able to research, you won't be able to showcase that, okay, you have done this well. And that's a very big challenge. You need to spend some time in understanding that, listen, whatever the university I go to, I'll give them the due respect. because that person is giving the time in the day to interview you. One of the common mistakes people make is people think there's somebody sitting there to reject you. No, somebody's taking out the time in their day and figure out that, oh, I need to be able to get this person to the university. So you need to be very sincere about your efforts as well. Practice as much as possible, be it talking to somebody, be it talking to a screen. I always recommend, because a lot of interviews happen virtually, so get used to talking to a screen, and if you're comfortable with that, that becomes all the more better. And of course that adds value, and try and do that. Correct. uh, Please don't pretend to be somebody else. The most important thing is that you try and be yourself and able to give the best possible answers. I want to cover one part, and then I'm happy to continue answering questions as well. One thing that is also important to universities, all the schools I'm talking about have their own assessment, right? From Ashoka, Flame, Simbi, Christ, Azim Premji, Shivnadar, Plaksha, Thapar, Vijay Vidyashilp, all the schools have their assessment. I can go on talking about them. But the common point is the practice material is very similar. All of them are testing you on verbal, mathematical, quant skills, reading comprehension, logical reasoning. That's all. So if you practice for one, you're practicing for most of them. But you need to practice for sure. I know you have pre-boards coming across, but if you can take out 1 hour every single day and make that schedule, or figure out time when you have the gaps between your exams, you need to get smart, because you can't rely about examinations after boards, because after boards most of the examinations will be done. So students, please try and understand how are you leveraging this opportunity. It's very, very crucial. Correct. I know pressure of exams and everything is so much, it gets tricky for you, so you need to try and spend time doing that. And assessments can be these are not the most difficult exams in the world, right? So if you somebody is telling you that, listen, it's not going to happen, it 100% will. Correct. Urvi, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll back and answer most of the question, then I'm going to continue with this, because
Um, Abhishek, we just have just 4 questions in the question Q&A, and then we can take the ones in the chat.
I'll answer the Q&A ones first. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So those of you who asked the questions in Q&A, let me just open those. Urvi, I can't see the Q&A questions for some reason. It's not opening. Can you
I'll
read
I'll
it?
read them out. I'll
Ah,
read
please,
them
please.
out. Careers, after you want to major in political science is what Sarah has
Okay,
mentioned.
so political science, let's look at this way. Of course, the most common careers are journalism, media, law, international relations, civil services. But today you have to look at the political science is relevant everywhere. Look at the last 1 year we've had political diplomacy, geopolitics. I've had the maximum kids in India apply to international relations this year for the first time, right? So careers are not limited.
Okay, then we have another student saying that he's of grade 12. My question is, Jindal Global Law School is accepting UK LNAT test this year onwards, which is until December 31st. The university site says early admissions in January. So when should I sit for the exam? As early as possible or the last appointment in December?
As early as possible, because I think that will make your life much easier, and that will take away the risk of missing out on an exam. And I think that will be my advice. Always earlier the better.
Okay. Prithviraj has asked, Sir, I have attended 3 MUNs and I have
I
one
have replied to him.
reply. We have Ashita asking, what are the careers in computers? Basically, web applications.
Okay, so from web design and web application, but I think web application is going to be replaced considering AI is taking over very quickly. So I don't think they'll be relevant. But look at interface side of thing, UI, UX, graphics, that are going to be the future. So try and do something in that space rather, right? That's much faster.
Okay. Ashwarya wants to know gaming careers in colleges.
Gaming colleges, so a lot of colleges in India don't have a degree in gaming at the undergrad level, but I was like showing it to you. Let's replace this question. No, go look at the biggest gaming companies. I'll give you an idea. Go look at the biggest gaming companies and see where are they hiring from. Those are your universities. It's as simple as that. And pick up the degrees they're hiring for without even looking at it. Pick up the top 5 gaming companies in the world and the country. That's the easiest hack I can tell you. And for that, you can use LinkedIn.
Okay. Kritika wants to know careers in management.
Management in itself is a career, Kritika, and you can leverage. So understand management is a skill set. With management, of course, I'm going to mention only the subdomains. I can go and work in any industry, but sales, marketing, operations, supply chain, distribution, logistics, finance, accounting are all subdomains of management at the end of the day.
Okay. One student asks how to get into IIM Sirmore's BMS program.
I am which one?
Sirmore,
I don't think I am a Sirmur. I am.
IIM.
IIM Sirmur doesn't have a
What is
PB program.
this?
What I can recall is Indore, Ranchi, Jammu, Bodh Gaya, and Rohtak have a BBA program until unless somebody introduced this program now. I have no idea.
Okay,
And we can check for you. We can please write a mail. I don't want to give you incorrect information.
we can do that. We have another student asking, is it possible to get into great colleges if I score great in boards and CUET, but with less extracurriculars and average percentage in 11th until mid of 12th?
Of course, you can, but the problem is we're depending too much on luck because your boards will happen and result will come in May. CUET result will come out in July or August, God willing. And if that is done, nothing is left. So the smartest thing will be I apply to colleges with entrance and profile now, give it a go, at least have a backup secured, and then look at CUET and board marks. That's what my advice will be.
Okay. Rajeshri asks, I think she's a mother. My son is studying science with combination of chemistry, maths, physics, and electronics. Not doing so great till now. Which stream will suit him?
Ma'am, that's a very dependent question. I need to understand a little bit more. We can look at a career assessment and a session because that will be very random for me to give an advice without knowing the student. I hope you understand that.
Okay. Sarah asks, what is the requirement for admission in LLSIU Bangalore?
Oh, you'll have to give the exam. You have to sit for the entrance. So what law exams are giving, CLAT or relay? I mean, CLAT is of course important. So getting a rank, uh, I don't even want to put it out for you. The higher, the better for you. And of course, the number of seats you already know. So that is the only way possible.
Okay.
I'll tell you, Urvi, what I'll do is there's so many questions here. I'll try and address a few here. I'll read them out because I see so many in the chat as well.
That as well. Yes, we have.
Yeah. Right,
Uh,
finance and stock market. I mean, Anubha, you can be working with stock markets, but no university is going to give you the degree, at least the good ones without mathematics. And they shouldn't also ideally, right? Okay, let me see. Yes, Neha, NCC certificate helps in university admissions. Kritika, that's a good thing. Please go ahead. Okay, I'm going to scroll through chemistry, math, physics, and electronics. Okay, great. Dakshita, psychology is a fabulous domain. There's no limitation. It only opens up more opportunities the way it's growing. So it's a good domain to be in, right? Anusha, universities are concentrating to get to know you in interviews, trying to understand more about you, your motivation, what you want to do. Are you serious about what you've done, right? What are your strengths? How have you worked all these years? How do you deal with challenges? Are you disciplined as a person? That's what they're trying to gauge, right? Computer engineering, Amit, IIT, triple IITs, NIT, Shiv Nadar, Plaksha, Thapar, Manipal. These are the leading schools. BCA, Anusha, I would not ask anybody to do a BCA degree. Again, it's irrelevant today. Miss Ridhima, I think commerce careers are not limited. It also depends on what you want to do from banking, finance, marketing, sales, operation, distribution, logistics, investment banking. When you look at finance, it opens up a whole different domain. So commerce careers can never be limited. Every company runs on business and finance, right? And also all the elements I mentioned. So look at it with the same domains, where do you want to go and work? That opens up opportunities for you. Anusha, IIT, triple IITs, NIT, MI, Shivnadar, Plaksha, the ones I've just mentioned, Thapar for that matter. Anusha, 10th grade will matter any and everywhere. If in fact, if you want to go do your MBA at IIM Ahmedabad, at 30 also, 10th grade marks will be asked. Yes, correct, Pragi. Only gonna grow thanks to people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Virgin Galactic, space tech is only gonna grow. So is aerospace. So that's gonna be very, very important. Uh, Saranya, there are not too many schools. Christ University, Bangalore, Plaksha University, Mahindra. These are some of the leading schools for data science. Sangeeta, it's only growing because agriculture is one of the major providers, at least in India so far, and a few other countries. So agriculture can never, take a back seat, right? Absolutely, we do have courses available. Correct. What I want to quickly talk about is now I know there's so many questions around application. Now I can understand it can be so overwhelming for students, right? If you're not aware about programs, it becomes very, very tricky. So what I would rather recommend is, imagine if you had the right support system, if you had somebody guiding you throughout the application process, right? That becomes all the more easier, because I'll tell you a few reasons. There's a very good chance you might miss out on application forms. Every single year, I have somebody calling at the end of the term that, oh, I missed out on applications. I did not know the exam to give. I did not know what kind of essays work. Somebody did not review my application. I sent a wrong document. So that is where the support comes in. What we have done, and this is a great opportunity because we work with students for a year, but here Mindler team has dedicatedly worked towards figuring out a program where we can support everyone, right? I think the team will share the link here. If you're looking at guidance for Indian application, you need support with application forms and working with you till the time you're off to colleges and a review of it all. And that basic guidance that's so necessary, please enroll so that team can start working with you. We are already working with kids who have done their application for first rounds of admissions. Now imagine what are we sitting at. This is November mid, students and parents in particular. So please make sure you're trying to make the best out of this. And if you need any support, I would really appreciate if we get that notification, because it will become very tricky for us to also start guiding you later, right?
Okay, so Abhishek, if you just allow me, I'll just take
Please.
two,
Yeah,
3 minutes
please.
to quickly run the
Please.
all of them through the program and then type in
Sure,
all the
sure, sure.
details in the
Sure,
chat, right? So
sure.
they get a better idea on how things work. Is my screen visible? Okay, great.
Yes.
So we have the Mindler India College application program that Abhishek spoke about. This program, some of the key highlights here is that there will be a personalized guidance session. All these sessions will be online. There'll be a personalized guidance session whereby our expert coaches will help the students identify best fit colleges and courses based on their strength and aspirations. We have the application and entrance exam strategy, where we'll be creating a strategic approach for their applications and the entrance exams, resume building workshops and interview preparation workshops. Mr. Abhishek has already spoken about how important a good resume and, for you to fare well in interview is. So these workshops will also be there to guide you and provide you all the information for this. And also there'll be regular progress check-ins whereby we will be following up and tracking the progress. And like we mentioned, end-to-end support from the time you want to apply. We'll create your list. We'll help you with your applications till you get into this. This program is available and is for all grade 12 students for the admission cycle of 2024-25 with a very nominal fee of 5,000 rupees, where this entire program will be available. I am going to now paste the link of the form to enroll, and also all the contact details here to reach out to our team. Please reach out for any further support or queries that you require, and we'll be happy to help you.
Wonderful. I think trust me, if I was in your place and I had this chance, I would have gone for it, because we struggle a lot with admission. Parents will agree with me. I think it's a very tricky thing. And the worst thing that can happen in class 12th is that I'd miss out on college applications in any way. And we are very particular to make sure the best kids get to the best schools. That's why we're here. I'm gonna Amna, you need to look at essays, interview assessments, activity scripted. That is the most difficult part and the most important part as well, every single day, right? And by the way, in case you're looking at studying abroad, etc., you can still reach out to us. But today's session was purely about Indian applications. And if you want to dedicatedly work with a coach on entire end-to-end support on your essay review, interview prep as well, people only reach out to that. Anything can happen, whatever support you require. But this program is just curated with dedicated team to guide you and give you the best possible outcome. So Tapa, we're more than happy to discuss with you. See, ideally, we do charge separately for career sessions, but because you're going out with applications, we're happy to have a quick conversation with you and guide you with that. Best college for IIM. You guys don't understand the question. IIM is a college. I'm sorry if I've misunderstood this. Yeah, wonderful. We do. Arush, we work with students even for PhDs available. Right, we do. Enough. So from venture capital, angel funds to working with wealth management. Today, you were talking about commodity trading. So all these domains are only growing. Fintech, for that matter, the sector. So it's all going to grow. Mr. Pavandeep, we can look at joining the IICC program. You can do the foundation and then we can see from there. Yeah. Best college for BBA. Kritika, the question is very broad. Do you have maths? You don't. What do you want to do after BBA is equally important. I'm sorry, I'll always go back to careers. So I need to understand more context to guide you better. Uh, See, Manjinder, any subjects can work very well, right? You can pick up humanities, science, anything. The goal is if you want to play sports, what do you want to do with it? I'm working with a student right now who's a golfer who loves physics. Now his backup is if he doesn't end up becoming a golfer, wants to make equipments for golf. So he's taking PCM, right? So everybody's goal is very different. Hotel management, Nusha, the number one school in the country is Oberoi Step. You can look at Manipal, that's Welcome Group. You can look at Taj Aurangabad, IHMs, of course. These are the best ones in the country. I absolutely think so, Amrita. We wouldn't be here. Zoom is also part of user experience. I don't think we need to even go to college for coding, Jayesh, today. And I don't need to code. I have AI tools for that. No, you can't, Ashita, be a nurse from humanities stream. The best schools in India for mass media will be Symbiosis, St. Xavier's, Flame. Yes, these will be top three for me. You can go to, you're eligible, Prisha, you can work in marketing. You're eligible to apply to the colleges. Look at Ahmedabad University, Flame, Symbiosis, Christ, NMIMS, all these schools. Amrita, you can look at UID, MIT, World Peace, Srishti Bangalore, Symbiosis, Institute of Design. Naina, why would I go to GD Goenka for BTech Aerospace? That is a better question I'll ask. Jayesh, that's a very tricky question. Like, what do you want to do? Because without maths, computers doesn't exist. That's my question. If you can get a aerospace undergrad degree, then I would choose that if you have one, because you don't have too many colleges offering that. No, no, Naina, I think you're talking about GD Goenka, I'll avoid. You can. Prashasti, you can. Ria, what do you want to study? Well, yeah, not the city to study engineering. See, we often forget, and parents, this is for you. I think you'll appreciate that. We often look at colleges and forget that cities are also very important. Now, today you want to go and work in a space like I want to work in aerospace. I'll go to a city where I have universities that are relevant to it. I want to work in finance. I'll go to the right city. So please understand, correct? Every city also has reputation for certain careers. So you need to understand that as well. Can't randomly pick up universities. Sanjay, uh, without any specialization, Christ will be one of the best in the country. Delhi University, Flame again. These are the top schools in India for psychology. ACC is good, of course. Naina, there are multiple blogs on the Mindler page about becoming a commercial pilot. You'll get all the information you need there. Arnav, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Pune, Delhi, Bangalore. It will start immediately, right? Your application work team will get in touch within a day or two and we'll start working with you immediately. So if you enroll now, also we have limited places. Please understand this. You want to get the best kids on board and support them. And that's why we are doing this. If you wake up and come next month, it'll become very tricky for us to accommodate, right? We have to work with a certain number of kids to guide them and to give the best support possible. Even though we're already extending over and above what we can do. Scalar is a good school. Scalar is trying to make a good name for itself. So I wouldn't mind keeping that on my list for sure. Pragi, very different careers, accounting and financial analyst. So I can't say which one is better. Most of the CFAs I know also have an ACC or CA degree. Absolutely. IPM is a fabulous program. A few IITs. VIT offers a mechanical program, but the specialization is there. SRM is there. Yes, I can look at those. CMI is one of the best in the world, Chennai Mathematical Institute. See, you can't start comparing that with Harvard, Stanford now. Please understand this. Yeah, I would definitely keep Scalar on my list as a backup. It's one of the good options now that's coming up, right? So what we'll request you to do is try and spend some time to go through the program, circle back to the team. We're very happy to address and help you out. And please save the links, save the numbers, reach out to the team. I just let's avoid BCA. Nobody should be doing BCA. It's not a relevant course today. No employer is valuing that. We should look at courses that are relevant in the future, not that have gone in the past. Saranya, they don't really care about SAT scores because Ashoka will make you give the test, but anything less than 1300 won't work for Flame. Don't submit a score less than 1300. Wonderful. I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible. Sanchita, not really. Great. I'm happy to address a couple of more questions that uh you can, Prashasti. Ma'am, Mumbai University is fine. I look at NMIMS, St. Xavier's as options, which are better for sure. That's okay, Arnav. That's why we're here. That's why you can enroll for the program. The team will be very happy to guide you throughout. That's why we're sitting here. Don't worry. We'll help you figure out. The colleges are always available. We have to be just smart about it. You can. Ronak, you can. Absolutely. Aishwarya, if you go to the Mindler portal, there's an entire list of colleges that you can consider. But at the undergrad level, if I would rather pick up computer science, graphics, design, mathematics as better programs to increase opportunities. Sanjay, they exist, yes. At most private schools, scholarships exist. Sanya, we can block a session for you can reach out to the team. That's a very different conversation. So, in the interest of time, I would rather take it offline. Uh, Ashita, I don't know what a career goal is, but of course, BCA today value-wise doesn't help you in any way. It is. Yog, absolutely. I mean, there is a fabulous school. The IPM program is brilliant. And Yog, they don't offer BMS. It's a IPM has BBA and MBA nomenclature, but Pilani, Yushika, hands down, there's no comparison. Bits, the only bits that matters today is Pilani. Bhavna, if I can, I'll do both. BSc in economics and stats together, like a Christ University offers that combination. Or even Plaksha and Thapar have a combination in both. Aishwarya, no. Shreya, I would rather go and do BBA or hotel management or hospitality. And even management can be a specialization for my master's. Ronak Plaksha is one of the best ones. Christ University is another. It is. The Hana, it's a good option. Prashasti Shivnadar is a really good option. SRM, VIT, all good schools. No, it is one of the ones, one of the few. Yes. Sure, I don't get the question. Okay, great. I think Urvi, we're good. Of course, we can keep addressing queries, but I think we can take them up. You can reach out. Please try and register at the earliest. I'm repeating myself so we can make the most out of it. Thank you so much, parents, for joining. I'm glad I was able to answer some of the questions. If I wasn't, I'm really sorry. But in the interest of time, it become tricky. But do reach out. Team is happy to help you, and you can check out the Mindler Career Library as well if you want to know more information.
Thank you so much, all of you, for joining in. We put in all our contact details here along with the program details. Please reach out to us, and we'll be happy to support you in any way we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you, all of
Bye.
you.